Today, I'm going to show you how to make a fountain for your desktop or a countertop. I'm going to be using this plastic pot I bought. It's lightweight. It's got a really neat design to it, very mid-century mod. I love it. Lightweight, I can carry it. When it's full of water, it gets a little heavy. So I try to use things that are easy to carry and transport. I have a cup of gravel from my garden, a fountain with a little light, and I also am going to be using some of this black diamond aqua soil to give the plants that I'm going to put into it a little bit some nutrition and a good substrate. That's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour in my substrate. Just enough to coat the bottom. It's a really pretty substrate. When you use it in aquariums, it's probably called black diamond because it kind of dazzles like a diamond. I'm just going to take my little fountain head that just so happens to fit in here pretty perfectly, guys. I would suggest if you're going out to buy a pot, maybe bring the fountain with you. Make sure that it fits nicely. I feel like this one's going to be good. It's not going to do any splash out. And it'll be just enough above the top of my pot that it doesn't look weird, you know, just like out here or way down there. You'll be able to see it. The light is attached to the bottom. You just simply put that on and take your tube and tighten that on. Easy. So get that suction cup to the bottom. Probably should do this before you put the gravel in. I'm only going to put some plants towards the back. So what I'm going to do is make sure my gravel, the aqua soil, is towards the back of the planter. And it'll be time to straighten all this out. I just get a little anxious and want it to be just right. But once you finish doing all this, you're going to have to straighten it out anyway. So next, I'm just going to take all of these rocks and the nice thing about plastic is you don't have to be so careful. If this were a glass bowl, I'd never would have poured that many rocks in there at one time. So this is what it looks like in the middle. I'm keeping this side open to shove some plants in there. The next thing I'm going to do is fill it with water. Let the water hit the side and kind of trickle down so you don't aggravate all the different gravels and everything we have going on in here. And because I got my gravel out my garden, it has a lot of beneficial bacteria already, which will help with the plants. But there's also a lot of leaf matter that I'm gonna start scooping out. So I'm not too super worried about the chlorine because I'm not putting any fish or any live shrimp or anything in here, not even snails. You could, if you wanted, you won't see them. So this is strictly gonna be a fountain and I'm gonna have plants in it, but you can also choose just to have it as a fountain with no plants. When you first get your pump, this top is actually screwed on pretty tight, so you have to unscrew it and loosen it so that the water doesn't spray out everywhere. All right, I'm gonna let this cycle sit here, let everything settle, let everything dry out, come back later and let's see how it's doing. If there's still water everywhere, then I'll know that it needs to be adjusted and made smaller so that when it does splash, it stays within the capsule of this pot. Otherwise, you're good to go. You could keep it like this. I don't particularly like this cord sticking out, but I think if you had it up against the wall, you could kind of tuck it in and under, and it'd be a lot less visible. But we're going to put some plants in it later and show you how we can cover that up. Camouflage it, but it's so neat. I love it. It's like a little bubble. There's this little lip here on the fountain and it takes a little time to get it unscrewed. It's on there pretty tight. Since we are just doing this in such a small space, we want it to just flow out nicely and not spray out. I have my substrate towards the back which is also where I will put this wire. So when I do plant this up, you won't see the wire. You can also, like I said, choose to not have plants and then just sort of hide this wire in the back. But I think some plants in the back will definitely be a good addition. So there's an adjustment on the back of this pump at the bottom that you can slow down this water. So there's lots of different ways. This almost gives it like a little bit of a cone shape. And just keep moving this around until you find a position that you like it and a flow that you like it. So the tighter it is, the more outward the water flows. That fills the whole bowl. Wow. And that looks super cool. And I would have to see how much splash out you would get with this, because I really don't want it splashing everywhere inside. So it's obviously a project you should do outside, where you can let the water just splash out before you get it indoors. But yeah, there's some splash out with it that tight. So you're gonna want to loosen that. I think that's really pretty. Guys, look what someone gave me today. It's perfect for the new planter. So someone gifted me some pickerel weed from their pond, and I think that this is the perfect backdrop to my new planter. Alright guys, so I was thrilled to receive this today, and this is a pickerel weed out of a friend of mine's pond, and I'm going to use it as the backdrop in this planter. So this has a huge rhizome, and I'm gonna try to pop off a few of these small pieces that I like, and I think it'll be a really neat backdrop to this planter. Ooh, it's already got little critters in there. Grows by these giant rhizomes, and it's actually rooted through this netted pot. So it's a tough guy. I just gotta figure out how to get it up here. There we go. So there's a few bent stems. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull those and chop those off for now, and it'll bounce right back. They'll send out new leaves very quickly. The stems are sort of hollow, and they tend to like break pretty easily when you're yanking on them trying to get them out of a pond. But I thought that this would be a fantastic backdrop in here. And I have to put a little bit of a heavier rock, a nice river rock, to hold it down. This planter has been in my greenhouse all day running, and when I'm telling you, you could take a bath in this water, it's so hot. I mean, you could go with the simplicity of that, honestly. And I'm gonna grab a little bit more just to fill it out a little bit for y'all. But it's kind of up to you. And I'm gonna grab another rock and put it on top to weigh it down more. So I still have that cord. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that and use a little twisty from your bread bag or whatever you have that has one of these, and just give it a little gentle hug, hold everything up, and be able to hide this cord. Okay, so here's the back side. And I grabbed these two leaves from this side, and I'll grab one or two leaves from the other side and put that cord in the middle. And we're just gonna gently twist it in place. So we finally got it finished. I'm fighting the wasps because they keep coming to try to get water. And because I don't like to kill things, they live in my greenhouse. But I think we're gonna have to have a little conversation. Woo! They haven't bitten me yet. But they are finding this water source. But I'm really happy. I think it looks really pretty, and I would say this is more of a pond fountain, especially since the pickerel weed is from a pond. It has a very pond-like appealed to me. And I like the simplicity of it. You could do some floaters and things in there, maybe some duckweed if you wanted. And I'm sure there's duckweed in this pickerel, so it'll probably start forming up there and then kind of covering off that top, and that way it'll keep everything balanced. I wasn't expecting to do a pond fountain today, but I'm not sad about it. You know, I'm kind of glad the way that it worked out, that I got some free pieces, and I think it turned out nice. And I'm gonna let it stay in here for a little while and kind of set up and get its roots established. And who knows, it may be a little permanent fixture as long as I can keep the temperatures down in my greenhouse and it doesn't fry or boil them. Well, this way of gardening right now is a lot cooler than digging in dirt, so I'd rather get wet than dirty right now. So either way, I'm going to be sweating. So this is kind of my alternative summer gardening. And there's the wasps are thirsty. So all right, well, thanks for being here. And if you like the video and you're entertained by my shenanigans here, please subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one.